Hello everybody, this is Democre and welcome to the first video of my series. I will be doing a Let's Mod in conjunction or in shadow of Pahimar's Let's Mod series. I will be doing everything that he is doing, except I will be doing it on a Mac in Intellij IDEA and in the language Scala. It should be pretty interesting. The rest of the series will focus mainly on doing the same things that he's doing in Scala instead of Java. But this episode will focus on getting the same kind of environment set up for development. I really like his development environment, and we'll show you how to set it up in IDEA. The first thing that you need to do is download the MCP. You need to download the Forge, and you need to download the Scala language. MCP, go down to releases, and you will find this link right in here. Go ahead and click that. It'll bring you to a download page, and you download that. On the Forge page, I grabbed the latest one, which is build ending in 687, and it is for Minecraft 152. When you download this, make sure that you're grabbing the source link, the SRC link. And that has an ad attached to it. On Scala, go ahead and download the archive that is appropriate for your platform. I am doing this on a Mac, so we will download that one. The ad should go away now, and everything is downloading. When it's all done, just go to where you downloaded them. I've downloaded them to here. First, we're going to install Scala. Double click that unzips it. We will take that over to library, where I have already made a folder called Scala, and I'll drop it in there. From here, what I like to do to finish setting this up is to go into the bin directory, bring up my terminal, and I have an alias to change to that directory that is shown in the Finder. Now, when IDEA runs processes or shells out processes, it does not pass the path environment variable on a Mac. So when running any AMP scripts or Python scripts, it will not pass those along. And MCP and Forge look for the Scala C executable to determine if Scala is present when it wants to recompile your mod for distribution. So to fix that, I create a symbolic link to these files. Create it under user bin, and of course I didn't sudo that, so or sudo super user do. I will do that, type in my password, and that's done. Now I will do create links for the rest of these guys. Go up here. Scala. Scala C. Scala doc. And Scala P. Scallop. Alright, now that those are done, you can check it really quickly to see that they work. And that tells you that it is working. You can get rid of the terminal now. So get rid of that. Let's go to this directory. Okay, so we have installed Scala. Now we will install or set up the MCP directory. So again, unzip it. I'll take it back to that tab, put it under my Let's Mod folder, which I just created for this. Created it empty, rename that to MCP, and you will see that all that stuff comes with it. We will now do the same thing for Forge. Unzip it, let's drag it back into. Now you want to put this inside the MCP directory. So it should look like MCP and then Forge underneath that. And you can then run install.shell from here, and that will finish setting it up, but I like to do things all through the IDE, so I will not do that right now. Speaking of the IDE, let's move on to setting that up. We have our downloads all installed, they're all looking good. Now we will set up IDEA itself. Get rid of that. For IDEA. Alright, there we go. This right here is the project that I'm using to follow along with Pahimar's. To set up IDEA for our environment, we will go to Configure, then Settings. Under Compiler, we need to add some resource patterns so that it will recognize which resources to copy over after it's compiled. And I've made a note of that over here. This is... We want to copy over the config files, the info files, the obj files, and the og files. Now that they will not end up in your class path, and you will get compiler errors, or runtime errors. Okay on that. Next thing is to set up some default run configurations for our applications so that they can find the correct native libraries, etc., etc. So I have put in this will go to the MCP directory under or from the IDEA project root. That should always be the working directory whenever you want to run a modded Minecraft directly from your build. And in the VM options, we will paste this line. Sets the native library path, min and max memory, and the permgen. I am using a 3 gig setup for my Minecraft runs. After that is done, just hit OK. Let's go back to plugins. Now, under plugins, we need to install the Scala language plugin, which is not on this list. It would be under Browse repositories because it's not a bundled plugin from Intellij. Go to Category, Custom Languages, Scala, download and install. Yes. Remember how I said I like to do everything through the IDE, including those installs? The install Python script I can run with this Python plugin. That is available for commercial licenses. If you do not have a commercial license, you could write an Ant script to shell out to this, and you still would get all the runtime results and logging inside the IDE with the clickable line links, etc., etc. So now that I've downloaded those, you can see that they're both green. Say OK. It wants to restart. Go ahead and restart. Now, depending on your default installation, you will get a plugin error because a couple of the dependencies for Python are not enabled by default. So open the plugin manager. It wanted the SSH remote run. So we will enable that. But that wants the remote host's access to be enabled. So I will enable them. And voila, hit OK, restart again. And now we are ready to create our new project. Go ahead and create it. We will go to IDEA, which I just created. Choose that. I'll rename this to Let's Mod. Under this module, we don't want to create a source root. Let's go ahead and change this to one directory higher. Let's go to MCP. That is our content root. We will change the module file location. Let's go back to Let's Mod again. Go back to IDEA. Choose that. So what this is saying is the module file will be kept in the project root directory, and the content for this MCP module will be under Let's Mod MCP. We hit Next. This does have a Python aspect to it. I want to run all the Python scripts from there. So we will, there's no interpreter. We will go to the ellipsis. We'll hit Add a Python SDK. I'll select the latest one that it found and hit OK and finish. We will hide the tips. Alright, so this is what our project looks like so far. We have this whole bunch of stuff from MCP that got installed. I happen to know that we want to go to Forge and run this install.python. Right click on that, go down to Run Install, or you could do Control-Shift F10. And it will do its thing. This is the standard setup for Forge. Normally you would download Forge, put it inside MCP, and run the install.sh or install.command, and it would do its thing. It takes a couple minutes. So while we're waiting, the next steps we're going to do is add another module to this project. It will be our Scala module. I have already created a directory, an empty directory called mod source. Under here, let's go ahead and create the folders that Pahimar has, which is resources, actually he had one level, so let's do let's mod resources under less mod, and he had a common source common. So now we have created the directories that he had in his. And it looks like it's about to finish up over here. It's recompiling. So get rid of the binder. It does take a few minutes for this to go. While that's happening, we can start on this module. So let's go ahead and add a module. We're going to add a Java module. We will keep it under IDEA, and we will browse for mod source, and we will root it there on Let's Mod. Okay, don't necessarily want to create a source root. We'll go next. This one will be a Scala module. We say use Scala distribution. We have to go to library /Scala -2.10.1. Say OK. And it comes up with the correct version. It is saying that there's no docs under there. And I think that's okay. We will go finish. Alright, and this finished down here. It looks like we are all set up the way the environment should be set up. Let's go ahead and create a test run configuration for this MCP. This will be our vanilla. We'll go to application, well, hit add application, and It filled in that, and it found the correct directory. We're going to have a working directory of mcp/jars. The module that we are using is MCP, and we'll apply that for now. Now that the Python is done, we need to go in and mark our sources. So we need to mark source Minecraft. We'll go to dependencies. Alright, it's completing something here. Let's try this again. Let's remove that one. Let's remove this facet. Let's add a Scala facet. Add that. That should be good. Let's do enable. All right. Now that we have our sources, we will edit that again. Using the class path of module MCP, we're going to go for the main class of start and hit OK, and we will run. And running through IDEA, we do get a few errors. Whoa. I know what this is. Okay. We have to go back to here. MCP has quite a few bit more dependencies. We need to add a library of, let's make a new library, MCP, we need to add all those guys and all those guys. This will be MCPs. We will add it to there. Let's go ahead and move that one up. We're going to export that. Let's move that above the 1.6. The reason I moved that above the JDK is also when you run. Actually, I'll move it back down and show you. Okay. Let's redo it again, and it should be available to us. Let's hit run. It's compiling. Now that we added the correct dependencies, and it should pop right into running Minecraft. And you can see that it's all there. Mods, we have those 3 loaded. Let's go ahead and quit. Now, up here we have a bunch of errors. We get these errors automatically. It's related to the same thing that IDEA passes everything through the class path, so it's going to conflict. And you can basically ignore all those. Be able to read classes jar. These warnings here. FML has detected a mod that is using a package name based on net.minecraft.source. We go back to dependencies and move this up above the 1.6. It will get rid of those severe warnings. So, okay. One last time here, and this time we don't get all those severes. We only get the standard. Can't parse the classes jar. Can't find object.class. So that's it. In the next episode, I will be doing a mirror of Pahimar's episode 5, which is the first mod class in our new setup here. Actually, before I go, one last thing. Under Let's Mod, let's go to our sources. Let's mark both of these as sources. Go to our dependencies. Let's add a module dependency on MCP. And move that one up as well. MCP. That's exported. Everything's good to go. Alright, I'll see you later.